Okay. So recording is starting now. We'll be starting in a few more minutes. Okay. Hi guys. Sorry for the long wait, but we'll be starting now. So good afternoon, Augustinians, and to junior high, good basically. And to clarify, there aren't any teachers here yet, but we'll start now because there are like 35 participants na. Mostly all of you are from grade 10 and grade 9, right? There's another one here also from grade 7, if I'm correct. So once again, good afternoon po. Welcome to this U-Week's AltClass hosted by the Junior High School Student Republic. No, I will be your host for today. Jasper Sean G. De la Cruz, the president, and currently the overall chairman for the U-Week of the Junior High School Department. So before we start this webinar, I would like to please call on Pierre Paul Superio to please lead the opening prayer. Pierre.
In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. When we live in unity, how good and how pleasant it is. Pray for us, Holy Father Augustine, that we may dwell together in peace. Let us pray. God our Father, whose Son promised to be present in the midst of all, come together in His name. Help us recognize His presence among us and experience in our hearts the abundance of your grace, your mercy and your peace, in truth and in love. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Saint Augustine, pray for us. In the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Augustinians, please raise your please put your hand on your chest as we sing the national anthem.
Paglayang minamahal, ang isla ng watawan mo'y tagumpay na nagniningil. Ang bituin ng tanong niya kailan pa may magdidilim. Lumalang araw ng alhangin pagsinta, ay langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi kaya naman may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Please continue putting your hand on your chest as we sing the USA hymn. So once again, guys, good afternoon po, no? It's a really good time to have all of you here. As I didn't expect to have at least 35 to 36 participants, no, I only expected around 30. But thank you so much for coming here once again, and thank you for your time. So as we begin this webinar, I would like first to introduce to you the speaker for today's seminar. The speaker for today's seminar is a child consultant, a teacher, and a loving parent. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for Mrs. Sharon Rose G. Del Cruz. Okay.
Good afternoon. Yes, good.
So we should get straight to the point, no? We don't want to waste any more time here. So Ms. Sharon, you may please go ahead with your presentation. Are you prepared po? Should we proceed?
Yes, go ahead. Okay, so good afternoon, dear students. Good afternoon to everyone. And I'd like to welcome you to this talk this afternoon on self-management, guidelines for improvement. This is based on the book by Sean Covey, which is entitled The 7 Habits of Highly Successful Teens. All right, so to start with, I'd like us first to take a look quickly into the 7 habits, which we will be talking about in detail later on. So it's not an accident that you are here, that 35, am I right, Jap? 35 people here.
Yes, po.
So it's not an accident that you are here, because it simply means that all of you who are present in this talk all made the choice that you want to have an improvement in your life, maybe because you know that you are still learning, and that I'd like to commend all of you for being so open to this talk, even if I know that this is something that's required of you to attend, but still you made time for this. So let me begin with the first habit. Habit number 1 is being proactive. So what does it mean to be proactive? It simply means to take responsibility for your life. Habit number 2 is to, next slide please. Habit number 2 is to begin with the end in mind. That simply means to define your mission and your goals in life. I will just have a quick run through, because we will be discussing all of them in detail later. So habit number 3, next slide please. You put first things first. So you prioritize, and then you do the most important things first. Habit number 4 is you think win-win. You have an everyone can win attitude. Habit number 5 is you seek first to understand, then to be understood, because they say that the biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand, but we simply listen to reply. Okay, so habit number 5. Next slide, please. Habit number 6 is to synergize. What does it mean to synergize? It simply means to work together so that you are able to achieve more. And then the last habit is habit number 7, which is sharpen the saw. It's just renewing yourself regularly on a regular basis, trying to do things that will make you an even better person. Okay, so that's those are the 7 habits that we will be talking about in detail as we go along. Now I'd like to proceed to this. We just talked about the 7 habits. So now let's talk about the opposite. These are the 7 habits of highly defective teens. If we had effective teens in the beginning of the talk, now we talk about the defective teens. So what are the habits of the defective teens? So habit number 1 is they react. Okay, when you say react, it means that you blame your problems on others. You are a victim. Like, for example, if something happens to you, you do not take that as something to improve yourself on, but you try to say that that happened to me because because my friend left me, or because I broke up with my boyfriend, or because I had a really bad um I had a really bad fight with my brother or my sister. So you try to blame others. Habit number 2, you begin with no end in mind. You do not have a plan at all. And then you avoid making goals at all costs. So you do not really know where you're going. Habit number 3 is you put first things last. So like today you'll say, okay, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow you're going to say, okay, I'm going to do it the next day. So it's like putting off what is important for the next day all the time. Habit number 4 is you think win lose. You see life as a vicious competition. You always think that you should be the winner. You always strive to be the one on top, even if you're stepping on others already. Habit number 5 is you seek first to talk and then pretend to listen. So you talk a lot and you always express your side of the story first without listening to the other person. So that's habit number 5. And then habit number 6 is you don't cooperate. You are your own island. When you see everybody working as a team, working together to achieve a common goal, you just stand up and leave, and then you think that you can do things by yourself. So that's not that's one of the habits of a defective teen. And then the last is you wear yourself out. Habit number 7 is you wait until you are so tired, so low bat, and you don't take time to renew or to improve yourself. All right. So from there, I'd like you to take a little time to think about yourself. What do you think are you? Are you an effective teen or are you a defective teen? Try to look at yourself and then try to think about your life now. Where are you? I mean, where are you in terms of your values, how you react in your relationships with other people? Try to think of that, and we'll see whether you are an effective teen or you are on your way towards becoming one, or if you are defective. And if you are defective, I'm not saying that's bad. What I'm saying here is you still have time. You still have time to correct it and to become better. You still have time to make a change and become effective. And that is what we will be talking about this afternoon. Okay, are you still with me? Can you give me a thumbs up in the chat box, please, if you're still with me? Okay. No one's with me anymore? Are you still with me?
Yes.
Yes, all right. So let's continue. Okay. Sige lang, if you think you just listen, okay? Because I'm going to talk more about the habits as we go along. If you want, you can make notes of you can make notes of what I will be talking about. Okay, why are we talking about the 7 habits? Why is it important? Why is it why are you spending this afternoon instead of going biking, instead of maybe sleeping, or instead of spending it playing online or with your friends? Why are you here? Why are you glued in your computers or in your cell phones and listening to me? These are the benefits of why the 7 habits are important. So at the end of this talk, I hope that you will be able to do these things that I will be talking about. Okay, so why are the 7 habits important? They are important because first, they can help you, sige Jap, take control or get control of your life. Okay, you will be able to slowly shape your life into what you really wanted to become, whether you wanted to be a good life or to be a bad life, it's your choice. But it can help you get control or take control of your life. Second, it can improve your relationships, not just with your family. It can also improve your relationships with your friends, with your classmates, with people around you. Okay. Next, it can help you make smarter decisions. It can give you ideas on how to decide, how to make decisions as you go along in your teenage life. And then next, you can get along with your parents. Okay, you will know later on why am I saying this, because I know some of you here probably are not getting along with your parents. So I hope the 7 habits is going to help you improve on that relationship. Another thing is it can help you overcome addiction, whether that's oops, I did not write it there. It's as we're supposed to. It's supposed to also include overcome addiction, whether it's addiction to food, addiction to um, online games. I hope no one's addicted to drugs or to drinking or to any bad habits, but it will be the 7 habits in general will be able to help you overcome your addictions if you have one. Next, it will help you define your values and what matters most to you. Later on, you will be able to make something that will help you, like a mission statement, which I will be talking about in detail later. And then it can the habits can also help you get more things done in less time. Sige, Jap, continue, please. Okay, and then it can increase your self-confidence. Sige lang, just go along. And then it can make you happy, or if you're already happy now, it can make you happier. And then the last is it can help the 7 habits can help you find a balance between your family, between school, friends, and everything else in your life. So these are some of the benefits that the 7 habits will be able to give you at the end of this talk. Okay, so as we continue, next slide, please. Let us first talk about something very, very important. As we go and form our habits, it's important that we take a look at our paradigm. What's paradigm? Paradigm is the way you see something. It's your point of view. It's your frame of reference or your belief. It's whether you believe that you can do it or you can't. That's your paradigm. So it simply means that paradigm simply means that where are you now? Where do you think are you now? I mean, are you on top of the world doing the things that you like, or you think you are in a pit where it's dark and it's sad? It's your choice. Okay, so it's how you see yourself now. So it's your point of view. So it's important to have an I can do it attitude, and it's also going to be very useful for you if you feel that you have that attitude of that I matter, I am important. So with that kind of attitude, it's going to help you become better. Okay, so now you will probably ask me, what about if my paradigm of myself is distorted or contorted? Okay, is there something I can do to fix it? So my answer to that is yes. Okay, when you have a contorted self paradigm, it means that your paradigm of yourself is twisted or distorted, or you have an irregular view of yourself. So how do you fix that? You simply need to spend time with people. It can be someone or it can be a lot of people. You can spend time with those who believe in you. So spend time with someone who believes in you and builds you up. It could be a parent, it could be an aunt or an uncle, it could be a grandparent, it could be a friend, it could be anybody that builds you up and believes in you. Is someone who can help you make your or build up your self-confidence and turn your paradigm around so that you will have a better view of yourself. Okay, because in his book, 7 Habits of Effective People. From where these habits came from. This was originally written by Sean's dad, Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey said that confidence needs to come from within, not from without. It should come from the quality of our hearts and not from the quantity of the things we own. So even if you own the world, even if you're so wealthy, you have a lot of money, or if you have a lot of toys, or if you think you have all the latest gadgets, if you are not confident, then it's there's nothing you can do about it. Not that there's nothing you can do about it, but what I'm saying is, even if you have everything you need, if you are not confident enough, if you don't think highly of yourself, then all these gadgets, all these material things do not really mean at all. They're just like flowers, or they're like trophies only, but they're just for the show. They do not really matter so much, because they won't help you get that self-confidence that you have, because again, confidence should come from within. All right, so I hope I gave you a clear picture of what paradigm is. So let's go to the first habit. Okay, the first habit is to be proactive. What does it mean to be proactive? When you're a proactive individual, you're a proactive teen, you always tell yourself you are in charge of yourself. You are responsible for yourself. So you do not wait for other people to tell you, oh, you're good, you're smart, you're beautiful. Those are just additional bonuses for you, but you have to be able to tell yourself that you matter, you are important for yourself, and you are in charge of yourself. So what does it mean to be proactive? In our slide in front of you, it says you are taking the initiative. You are not someone who will just wait for people to tell you that you are like this and you are like that, but you take the initiative. You try to become better because you are a responsible person. So you take responsibility. You do things by yourself because you are responsible, and you do the right thing without being asked, even when no one is looking. And you choose your actions, your attitudes, and your moods. And last, you do not blame others for your wrong actions. It's not it's normal to have mistakes, to commit to do actions that are not really in conjunction with what we really are or what we really want to be. Sometimes we make bad choices, and it doesn't mean that if you have made a bad choice, it doesn't mean that you're doomed already. It simply means that you have to stand up and pick up the pieces of yourself that you think fell because of that bad decision, and make that a lesson. I mean, the first time you do something and it's a bad decision, that's use that as a lesson so that you won't do it again. But the moment you do it again, then the moment you do it the second time or the third time, that has become a habit already. So be wary of that. You catch yourself doing something bad. So whenever you do that, whenever you catch yourself, you always try to remind yourself, okay, I'm not going to do this again because it's bad. It was a mistake. So it's not me. I mean, you always tell yourself that I am beyond my mistakes. I am better than this. So I'm not going to do it again. I will be better. Okay. You strive to be responsible for the mistakes that you have committed. Okay. So what else does it mean to be proactive? So there are two kinds of people. Next slide, please. So the first kind of people that we have are the proactive. So what are the proactive people? I've been saying this since earlier, that these are the people who take responsibility for their lives. They make things happen. They do that's taking the initiative to make things happen. They do not wait for others, and they make choices based on values. They make choices based on their values, so on what's important for them. Another characteristic of proactive people is that they think before they act. They do not just act right away, but they stop first and then they think about the consequences of their actions. And then they can control what they do about what happens to them. What does that mean? Proactive people are like water. Diba water, when you put it, let's say you put water in a container and then you cover it and then you shake it up all you want. But water, being the stable kind that it is, no matter how you shake it, no matter what you do with it, when you take out the lid, nothing happens. There's no fizzing, no bubbling, no pressure, because it's calm, it's cool, and it's in control. So that's what proactive people also are. They are always in control. So no matter how much other people shake them up, they won't fizzle. They won't be pressured. Okay? And then the other side of these kinds of people are the reactive people. So next slide, please. Thank you. So the reactive people are the opposite. They are those who blame others. Like, for example, when you are going somewhere and then you arrive late. You arrive late at let's say you're going to meet friends at 9 o'clock. So you arrive at 11 and your friends are, they're dying to squeeze you because they've been waiting for 2 hours. Reactive people would say, oh, I'm so sorry because my mom woke up late, or my brother took my shirt, the one that I really wanted to wear. So it's beyond my control. But in reality, you woke up late, or maybe you had you did something else before going. That's why you were late for the meeting. So you try to blame others. And reactive people also make choices based on impulse. Again, they do not think before acting, but they just jump at it. Like, okay, I feel bad right now, so okay, I'm going to punch you now. So they just base it on impulse. They are easily offended, and they get angry and say things they later regret. So most of the time, these are people who just get angry at the burst of the moment, and then later on they will say, oh, I'm really sorry, I said that to you, I did not really mean it. But in reality, they were reactive. So even if they did not mean it, they have already said the words, and that has already hurt the other person. Okay, so reactive people also wait for things to happen to them. They just sit back and relax and wait for their grades to go up without really doing anything that will help them pull their grades up. And of course, the reality is nothing, or no one will ever help you except yourself. So of course, at the end of the quarter, you'll get low grades because you did not do anything. Okay, and the last is reactive people change only when they have to. So they only choose when they will change. So it's not because they really want to, but because they feel like, okay, I'll try to do that now. But it's a change that does not really last. So they change for maybe 1 day, 2 days, at most for a week, and then they go back to their old habits. So those are the reactive people. Okay, so there are many things, there are many events in your life now as teenagers that can really show if you are a proactive person or a reactive person. So I'm going to give you a scenario. So let's say that your best friend has been bad mouthing you in front of a group, and then let's say this is just because we're now online, there's no face-to-face school. So let's say that your best friend, the one that you think is your best friend, has been bad mouthing you in a chat group that was created without you. So she created the chat group and then she started bad mouthing you there, but she did not know that there's one person in the chat group who reported to you. So you knew about it, and of course you felt so hurt and so betrayed. Okay, there are two things that you can do. What would a reactive person and a proactive person do? So a reactive person would do this. First, she would tell her and then maybe talk bad to her also. And then she will if you are a reactive person, you will be depressed because you will feel so bad about what your best friend said to you. And then you will decide that your best friend is a liar, a two-faced liar, and so you're going to give her the silent treatment for 1 month or 2 months. And then at the end of this, you will spread bad rumors about her. Okay, so that is what a reactive person will do. On the other hand, a proactive person would do these things. First, she would forgive the best friend. Okay, she would forgive the best friend and then maybe confront her and calmly share that she has been hurt and she felt betrayed. And then she would ignore it or just give the best friend a second chance because she knows or she was able to realize that that best friend probably had a problem. And she, of course, everybody has a weakness just like you. And so maybe there will be times that you sometimes also talk back or you also talk behind someone's back, and you don't really mean any harm by doing that. So it's like, okay, I feel bad about it, and then I'm going to talk to my best friend about it, but I will forgive her and then I will give her a second chance, and that's it. Okay, so that's what a proactive person will do. So you decide which of these two people are you. Okay, so that's habit number one. So now we go to habit number two. Next slide, please. So habit number two is you begin with the end in mind. Okay, what does it mean to begin with the end in mind? You develop a clear picture of where you want to go with your life, even as at your age now, as young as you are. Some of you are maybe 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 years old. At your age now, you can already try to plan out what is it that you want to do. So you are probably planning where to go for your senior high already, and then where to go and what to take up in college, and maybe think about like 10 years from now, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? So you try to plan ahead and then you set goals. Okay, and also you are prepared at all times. Okay, and then another is you think about how your choices now will affect your future. So your choices of maybe of your school for senior high will affect um, where or what you will take up in college. So if you think you're good in the sciences, then maybe you can go to a school that has a very good program in the sciences, because maybe when you are in college you want to go into BS biology because you want to be a doctor or public health, or if you are geared towards math, then maybe you want to become an engineer in the future, or a scientist maybe. So you think about that and you make choices based on those plans. Okay, and beginning with the end in mind also means that you are thinking about the positive or the negative consequences of your actions before you act. So, of course, in every action that we do, there is a corresponding reaction, right? Or there's a corresponding consequence, whether that's positive or that's negative. So, if you are practicing habit number two, you try to think of the consequences of your actions. Like, for example, um, you are very, very hungry already. And then you don't have money. Let's say you forgot your wallet for some reason, and you're very, very hungry. And then there's this store where there's only one salesperson. So the salesperson is still talking to another customer, and because you are so hungry, you don't have any money, you try to think about what will happen if you do something. So let's say you're very hungry. There's bread on the counter which you can just easily get. But if you are a proactive person, if you are thinking before you act, you will think about the consequences of your action. So do you just get it and just leave the store? Or because you don't have money, you try to think of someone who is probably in the vicinity, or maybe if you are very hungry already, maybe it won't it won't really be bad if you ask another person in the store if she can maybe buy the bread for you because you are so hungry already. I mean, some people won't mind, if you just tell them honestly that you forgot your wallet. Okay, so with that kind of action, you are trying to think about the consequences. So if you do the bad thing, which is just get the bread and then run away or leave the store without telling the salesperson there, of course, a consequence of that would be is, what if they have a CCTV and they will see you there, and then they will post your picture or maybe look for you via Facebook, and it will be such a shame, right? Or if you just walk up to somebody there and then honestly told that person that, I'm really very hungry, but I left my wallet. Is it okay if you buy this for me? I think that person would be very happy to buy the food for you because you were honest enough to say that you do not have the money for it. Okay, so that's something to think about. Always think of the consequence of your action before you do it. Okay, so with we were talking about the end in mind. Now that you are teenagers, you are at critical crossroads in your life. And it's important to think that the paths that you choose now can affect you forever. So you have to decide for your own future. Because if you don't do that, someone else will do it for you. Sorry, Jack, can you please go on to the next slide? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, so as I was saying, with the end in mind, you are not the critical crossroads in your life as teenagers. And whatever choices you make now can affect you forever. So you have to decide. You have to decide for your own future, because otherwise someone else will do it for you. Okay, let's talk about the crossroads. What are the crossroads that you are facing? So school, like decisions, whether you will do well in school or you will just, leave things for tomorrow. It's all up to you. Also, another crossroad would be your attitude. Like, for example, how would you react in certain situations? Okay. Your choice of friends also is another crossroad. Your values in life. What are the most important things for you? What do you value? Do you value honesty? Do you value integrity? Do you value um, promptness? You have to decide. And then also another crossroad would be your relationships, not just with your family. It could be relationships with the opposite sex, like a boyfriend or girlfriend. Is it too early to have a relationship with the opposite sex now, or is it okay? It will define you as a person. Okay, and then last one is your contribution to the community. How will you how will you be able to contribute in your own little way? Um, in your own little way, would you be able to do something that will have an impact? It doesn't have to be big. It could be as small as maybe just cleaning or not throwing trash wherever you are. I mean, that's one way of helping make our community clean. Or it could be something grand, like maybe um, planning an outreach program to a barangay or a community that needs help. So it could be anything that you have in mind. It could be very small or it could be very big. It doesn't really matter. But what's important is you do something to make your life better and to make yourself useful to the community. Okay. So next slide, please. With that, I'd like to throw this back to you. Who is now in the lead? Who's the lead in your life? Are you going to let somebody else control you? Of course not, right? So who is in the lead? It should be you. So you have to control your own destiny or someone else will. Who are we talking about here? If you don't try to lead your own life, your parents probably will lead it for you, or your friends, or worse, media will lead it for you. So you just um, open the internet and then you try to read even some fake news there, and then you try to use that to lead your life. And that's, I'm not saying that media or social media is bad. It's just that you have to make choices about what you read, about what you post, about what you um, react to. Okay, so with this, you can now make your own personal mission statement. What's a personal mission statement? It's like a personal motto. It's something, it's like a blueprint of your life. It's like, diba, when you build a house, you have to have a blueprint first because you want to plot like where the rooms will be, where the kitchen will be, where the dining and the living rooms will be. So it's the same in your life. You have to take control and plan it out so that you will have the future that you want. Okay, so that when you try to look at yourself, um, 10 years from now, you will be able to say, or I mean, like, let's say 10 years after today, if you try to look back, you will be able to say that I was glad, I was happy that I made the personal mission statement because it has guided me. Okay, so why is a personal mission statement important? Because it can open your eyes to what's really important to you, and then it can help you make decisions accordingly. Okay, so that's the beauty of personal mission statement. Next slide, please. Okay, here are some examples of mission statements. So I just got this from the internet, but you can use this as your guides. So like one of the personal mission statements here says, it is my mission to live a life of honesty, integrity, and unconditional love, to never lose sight of what is most important, and to make the world a more beautiful place through art and my relationships with others. Beautiful. Another personal mission statement is to constantly be striving to be the best version of myself in my job, with my health and fitness, with my relationships with my family and friends, and with my emotional well being. Another mission statement, to make a difference in someone's life each day so they may find the positive in their own life. I will do this by listening closely, helping in any way I can, and seeing the best in everyone. And a very simple mission statement at the bottom, my mission is to become the best version of myself and help those in my life to do the same. So you can make your own mission statement. You can put in all the values that are important to you, and then you can use that as a blueprint of your life. You can maybe write it on a piece of paper, or you can print it, and then you can paste it in your room or somewhere where you can see it on a daily basis, so that you are reminded of what it is that's important to you. Okay, so I hope you're still with me. Let's go to habit number 3. Next slide, please. Okay, habit number 3 says put first things first. So you work first and then you play later. Okay, so what do we do when we put things first? You do the things that you have to do before you get to do the things that you want to do. Like, for example, that there's an important paper that you need to submit tomorrow, but you have a cousin who's coming over to spend the night with you. So what you do, you know that your paper is important, right? So you do your paper first before your cousin comes over, so that later when your cousin comes over, you can have all the time in the world to talk and play, because you are already finished with what you have to do. Another is you stay focused on what you're doing and try to minimize distractions. If you get off task, you try to focus. And then you spend time on the things that are most important. Okay, so next slide, please. In the third habit, there are 2 powers that you have to have. So first is the willpower. This willpower is the strength to say yes to your most important things, like to to try to put your priorities in order. So you try to look at what are the things that you need to accomplish, and then you do things that are very important first. And there's also another power which we call the won't power. This is the strength to say no to less important things and to peer pressure. Like you should not be shaken by, oh, all my friends now have iPhone 13 and I still have iPhone 6. Don't be bothered by that. I mean, um, yes, it's true. It's nice to have the latest phone, but it should not define you as a person. Um, what's important is your phone is still able to chat. It's still able to help to, to text and to make a call to very important people in your life. Then I guess the phone's still serving its purpose. Okay, so in the image there, there's a comfort zone and there's a courage zone. What's in your comfort zone are the things that you enjoy doing, right? Your relaxation or your safety and your security. You're free from risk. These are the things that you are comfortable in, that you're accustomed to doing. And outside of that is the courage zone. These are the things that you're afraid of. These are the things that you have never tried. These are the hard moments in your life, the ultimate potential that can give you the ultimate potential. This is unexplored territory. It takes a risk. You have to take a risk to be in this zone. These are the things that are difficult to do, but you can choose to do them, and be happy with the results. These are opportunities. This shows your bravery, and this has to do something to do with higher duty and adventure. So try to do stuff that are outside of your comfort zone sometimes. But of course, you just have to be careful that you are safe. Okay. So next slide, please. When we talk about putting things first, we also have to think about the hard moments in your life. So be strong in the hard moments. What are big hard moments? These are conflicts between doing the right things and doing the easier things. This can be defining moments in your life. This can help you in decision making. This can help you try to put your values, try to put your values to test. And then there are also small hard moments. Like these are everyday things. These are things as simple as getting up when your alarm rings. You have a choice. When your alarm rings, you just put it on snooze, or you get up because it has reminded you that you have to wake up at that specific time. It could also be as simple or as hard as controlling your temper. Like for example, if your sister or your brother has said stuff to you that's hurtful, or maybe took some of your stuff without asking permission, do you burst out in anger, or do you try to sit down and maybe tell your brother or your sister that you feel bad about it, but okay, you're going to give them a second chance, but they should not do it next time? Or it could also be disciplining yourself to do your homework. So your choice. So to overcome peer pressure, you've got to care more about what you think of you rather than what your peers think of you. So think of yourself first. Okay, then we go to habit number 4. Habit number 4 is think win-win. So we try to include everybody. We try to say that, okay, everybody can win at this, or everybody can be good, everybody can be the best. It's not just me, it could be all of us. Okay, so when you have the think win-win attitude, you are someone who can problem solve when an issue comes up with another person. You don't think badly of the other person, but you think of ways to be able to smooth things out without putting the other person in a bad light. And you think about what other people want and not just what you want. And more importantly, you are kind to others and you try to think of ways to help everyone to be happy. Okay, next slide, please. This habit is like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet. Diba? Like when you go to Vikings or to Yaki Mix, or when you go to an eat-all-you-can restaurant, there's always plenty of food. So there's always something for everybody. No one gets left behind, because if, for example, if you don't like fish, there's chicken or there's pork, you can always, you have, there's something for you. But not just for you, there's also something for everybody. So in this kind of attitude, you have the belief that everyone can win. So you care about other people and you want them to succeed, but you also care about yourself and you also want to succeed. So you lift each other up. Okay. Because of course you have to note that there's plenty of success to go around. It's not just you or me, it's both of us, or it's all of us. Okay, so however, there's tumor. There are twin tumors that can get in the way of this win-win attitude, and that's competing and comparing. What is competing? Competing is when you tie your self-worth into winning, or you use it as a way to place yourself above another. You always think that you should be the winner and everybody else are losers. Okay. So you use that as a benchmark to measure yourselves against, but you should stop competing with others over status, over friends, over popularity, positions, attention, and just start enjoying life. Because if the moment you start to think that you are competitors, you automatically think that there's supposed to be a winner and there's supposed to be a loser. So that's not nice. And then the other one is comparing, which is competition's twin. So you have to remember that we are all on different development timetables. Whether you are the same age, you are all developing differently. So like even if you look at it on the physical side, you think about it, you're all 16 years old, but how come your classmate is already 5'10", and how come you're just 5'2"? Or maybe you ask yourself, why is she like for the girls, why is she sexier than I am? How come she has a beautiful body and I don't? That these are superficial things, but you have to think of it as, okay, that's okay. I mean, we are all different. Or maybe on a higher level thinking, we can say that why is my classmate richer than I am? Why are they wealthier? Why do they have 4 cars when we don't have any car at all? Simply because maybe they had it better in life earlier. But don't worry, because someday you will have your own time. And the moment you follow all these 7 habits, there's nothing that you cannot do, because you can accomplish a lot of things. So you can have all the cars that you want, you can have all the clothes that you want, you can have all the things that you want, as long as you believe in yourself and you take to heart all the 7 habits that I will be mentioning here. And also, we all bake differently. I mean, like for example, even if like me, I bake cakes. Sometimes I put in 4 the same kinds of cakes, for the same batter, the same container, the same recipe. Sometimes I still end up with one being different. And why is that? Because it it all depends on maybe the position in the oven, or maybe the position where this cake is hotter compared to the other 3 cakes. So they all bake differently, even if they come from the same mold. In the same way, even if you have, like for example, you have there are many of you in the family. Let's say there are 4 of you. You have to know that each of your siblings, you all will develop differently. So maybe some of you, your eldest brother will probably be good in math, but you're good in English, or your little brother will be good in sciences, but you are good in art. You develop differently. So what's important is you break the habit of comparing yourself with others. Okay, you know the best that you can compare yourself with is yourself yesterday. I mean, you try to look at what you were like yesterday and try to do better than that. Okay, so next slide, please. Let's go to habit number 5. Habit number 5 is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Next slide, please, Ja. Next slide, please. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, Pangga, can you go back to habit number 5? Can you go back to there? Habit number 5 is seek first to understand, then to be understood. So listen before you talk. Are you someone who listens to others without interrupting, or are you someone who would be impulsive that with the other person is still talking and you already want to say something? So what does this habit number 5 teach us? To raise our hand when you want to speak and to wait patiently to be called on. You don't just blurt out what you want to say. Also, you try to understand other people's views and feelings, even if they are different from your own. You try to put yourself in their shoes. Um you try to understand their point of view. Okay, so next slide, please. Uh, to make you better understand this, there are 5 poor listening styles that are detrimental or that will not help you listen well to other people. So what are these 5 poor listening styles? First is spacing out. Spacing out is simply ignoring someone who is talking. So for example, you have a friend in front of you, and that friend is very excited because she wants to talk to you about um, their trip to maybe Baguio or wherever. Sorry, Jack, can you still hear me?
Yes po, yes po.
Can you still hear me?
Yes po. Kailangan ka.
Okay, I'm sorry. My earphones are low bat, but I'm just going to take them out. Okay, so to continue, there are poor listening styles. So I was saying about something about spacing out, like ignoring someone who is talking. So let's say you have a friend who is very excited to talk to you about a recent trip, and then that friend was so excited. She was blabbering out and showing pictures, and then here you are pretending, or not only pretending, but you're really ignoring the friend, and that's something that's really sad, because you are not trying to listen, you are simply spacing out, you don't want to listen at all. Another is selective pretend listening. Pretend listening is like pretending that you are listening by making comments. Like you say, oh yeah, oh that sounds cool, oh great. But you are not actually listening. You're just pretending by saying this thing so that your friend will think that you are actually listening, but you're not. Another is selective listening. So we only pay attention to the part of the conversation that interests us. The other parts we're not interested in, we don't listen anymore. Another is word listening. We pay attention, but we only listen to the words and not to the body language or the feelings or the true meaning behind the words of what our friend is saying. And the last is self-centered listening. So self-centered listening is we see everything from our point of view. So we make judgments and then we give advice according to our experiences. And we probe. We probe when we try to dig up emotions before our friend is ready to share them with us. So we ask a lot of questions, even if we are not, if our friend is not yet ready to share them with us. So on the other hand, next slide, please. The opposite of poor listening is genuine listening. What is genuine listening? There are 3 levels, or there are 3 things here that we will be talking about. First is when you listen with your eyes, with your heart and with your ears. Did you know that that when somebody talks, it's just 7% words actually, but 53% of the conversation is body language. So you have to also pay attention more to the body language than the words, because you also get to know the person well based on the body language when she or he is talking to you. And then 40% of conversations refer to the tone or the feeling of the other person. So you will know if the person is happy or angry or sad based on the tone of voice. Another thing, next slide please, that we do when we are genuinely listening to others is we stand in their shoes. We are empathetic. We put ourselves in their shoes and we try to understand them from there. Like you won't really understand another person until you put yourself in their shoes, because by then you'll know how they are feeling and why are they feeling the way they are feeling right now. Okay, you try to see the world as they see it and try to feel as they feel. And then the third, next slide please, is practice. You need to practice mirroring. What does it mean? Remember, a mirror doesn't judge or doesn't give advice. It simply reflects, right? Like when you look at yourself in the mirror, the mirror doesn't tell you, oh, you're so ugly, or the mirror doesn't tell you your skin is so oily. It doesn't do that. It just reflects what is being projected into it. So when you practice mirroring, you just repeat back in your own words what the other person is saying and feeling, so that you'll get an idea about what they are trying to say. Okay, then we go to habit number 6, which is synergize. What does it mean? It's simply working together. And when we're working together, we know that we'll be able to accomplish more. So when you synergize, you get along well with other people and you work well in groups. You value the strength of others and you allow yourself to learn from them. And you know that by working together as a team, you can get more done and come up with better solutions than we could if we are alone. So synergy is achieved when 2 or more people work together to create a better solution. So what does synergy mean? Synergy is simply celebrating differences. It's like accepting others for what and how they really are. It's working as a team and being open-minded to everything that your teammates will say and will offer. And then it's finding new and better ways, because sometimes we think that we already know everything, but other people have better ideas than us. So when we synergize, we put together all the ideas. Okay, so what synergy isn't is tolerating differences. It's working independently. That's not synergy. And thinking you are always right, and compromising. Compromising is when you say, sige na lang, okay na lang. It's not that. You have to be able to also tell the others what you think so that everybody can make a choice. Okay, so next slide, please. How do we learn to celebrate differences? We are all diverse. So our physical features are different. Our skin colors are different. The way we dress is different. Our languages are different. Our wealth are different. Our family dynamics is also different. Even our religious beliefs is different. And so if you try to look at all these diverse things in life, you will be able to think and you will be able to accept others better, because you are accepting of the differences that each person has. Okay, next slide, please. So there are roadblocks, however, to celebrating differences. And what are these 3 roadblocks? There are 3. So the first is cliques. This is when we have exclusivity. Like, for example, you are a group of, let's say, 10 girls, okay? And you are so exclusive that you reject everyone who is not like you. So when you say, this group is going to be made up only of girls who have grades higher than 90. So all those who have grades lower than 90, are excluded from this group, and that's not, I mean, that's something that is not nice because you try to reject others. Another roadblock is prejudice, like when you form stereotypes, or like for example, whenever you see someone with black skin, you automatically stereotype them to be coming from the mountains, or Ati, or Nigerian. You know, that's a stereotypical reaction to people. So you make labels, you put labels, and then you it's like you put them in a box already without really getting to know them better. So you have preconceived notions of other people. And then ignorance. Ignorance is when you are clueless. You do not know what other people believe, how they feel, or what they've been through. You try to ignore their experiences because you think that it's not something that's familiar with you. And that is something that can be a roadblock to celebrating others' differences. And then the last habit, next slide, please. Last habit is to sharpen the saw. What is meant by sharpening the saw? It's putting a balance in your life. Okay, it's taking the time to take care of your body by eating right, exercising, and getting enough sleep. So what do you do here? You know that you are already very tired, you are already so sleepy, but because you want to be the best, you want to be the like the top, you do not want others to be on top of you, you continue, and you do things because you think you will win. And later on, if you continue to do that, you will get sick because you have exhausted your body. So you have to stop that habit, okay? Because if you are able to take good care of your body by sleeping right, by eating right, by exercising, then you will be better, because you will be better. You will be able to make better decisions because you have a healthy mind, a healthy body. Okay? You also should learn to balance your time between school, extracurricular activities, family, and friends. It's not just like, for example, maybe some of you here have already been engrossed with playing online games. So instead of doing your homework, or instead of joining your class, you just tell your teacher that, Ma'am, I'm sorry, I have no internet, or I have very bad signal. But in reality, you're just playing. You can't stop playing. So you are already making a choice that you do not want to balance your activities. So you try to do what is important for you, which is online gaming, without thinking that you are already overlooking your academics. Also, how do you sharpen the saw? You always learn how to become a better person. It simply means that you are thinking of ways to improve yourself, or maybe to be able to recharge. So sige, next slide please, Ja. So recharging, by that I mean that, like, I'm going to give you an example. Like me, for example, I am the way, or the what I usually do to recharge when I'm tired and when I have a lot on my plate. What can recharge me, or what can add to my bodies, to my battery, is to simply maybe drive, go outside, and then look at the sea, or the beach, or look at the mountains, and then it simply recharges me, because I am able to forget and let go of the things that are on my plate, even for just a few minutes. So sharpening the saw simply means preserving and enhancing the greatest asset that you have, which is yourself. Okay, so when you sharpen the saw, you don't just do that for your body, but you also do it for your mind, for your heart, and for your soul. So how do you do that? For your body, for the physical dimension, we talk about exercising, eating healthy, sleeping, and resting at an appropriate time, and relaxation. So you take time to do those so that your body will be recharged. For your mind, this is mental dimension. You can read, you can educate yourself on things that are important to you. You can write on a journal, and then you can learn new skills. Like if you want, maybe you can learn how to bake or learn how to do crochet or cook. And then for your heart, the emotional dimension, you can start to build relationships, or maybe improve on your relationships, and then give service. It could be service to your family, service to your friends, or service to others. And then you take time to laugh and to love. And then for your soul, this is the spiritual dimension. You can do meditation. It could be as short as 1 minute meditation, or it could be an hour meditation, you choose. You can keep a journal where you just write what's in your mind. You pray, and then you take in quality media. Very important now, especially for you guys. Okay? So I'm nearing the end of this talk. So I'd like to emphasize that self-love isn't selfish. It's very, very important. So, because how can you love others if you don't love yourself? Okay. This quote is, I got this from Alice in Wonderland. Alice was walking and she came to a fork in the road. So, a fork, like there are two roads. And there was a cat on top of the tree there. So Alice asked the cat, "Would you tell me please which way I ought to walk from here?" And then the cat said, "That depends a good deal on where you want to get to." Meaning, it depends on your goals. It depends on what you want to achieve. And then Alice says, "I don't much care where." Meaning that she's not really sure. She doesn't have goals yet. She's not sure about what she wants for her future. And so the cat said, "Then it doesn't matter which way to walk, because it doesn't matter because you don't have, because if you don't have a goal, if you don't have blueprint for your life, if you don't know where you are going, then the road leading to that doesn't really matter, because it's not important, because it's not important for you at all." Okay, I'm sorry. Next slide, please. I'm sorry. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. So the Alice was telling the cat, "Would you tell me please which way I ought to walk from here?" Then the cat said, "That depends a good deal on where you want to get to," said the cat. "I don't much care where," said Alice. And then the cat said, "Then it doesn't matter which way to walk, because you don't know what you want." Okay, so to end, this is Sean Covey. He was the one who wrote the book where I got all this from. So Sean Covey says, depending on what they are, our habits will either make us or break us. So we become what we repeatedly do. So now I throw the ball back to you, dear teeners, dear teenagers. You decide what are the habits that you want to nurture. Okay, you decide, you think about it tonight or in the next few days, and try to make a mission statement, try to make a blueprint of what you want to achieve in your life. So with that, I would like to thank you for sticking it out with me and for listening to this talk. Thank you so much. I hope I have helped you in any way. I hope I have enlightened you in some way. So thank you and good afternoon.
All right. Thanks again, Miss Sharon. Once again, guys, we would like to give Mrs. Sharon Rose Gita Cruz a round of applause. Okay. So before we move on, no, to the next slides, I would like first to entertain a few questions from the audience. There are 3 questions that I have right now. These came from me through a personal private message. And Mrs. Sharon, you won't mind if I ask these questions, no?
Yeah, go
Uh,
ahead.
okay. So this one is from Pierre Paul Superior.
Okay.
Which of the 7 habits should I embody first to find a talent or skill but I want to get good at?
repeat the question, please? My earphones ready, so I am trying to put them on now. May I hear the question again?
Okay. So Pure Bone Superior's question was which of the 7 habits should I embody first to find a talent or a skill that I would want to get good at?
Okay. If you look at all the 7 habits, they actually come in. I hope you would be able to put them in order, because if you ask me which one should you do first, then I think we you have to go back to the first habit, which is to be proactive. That's the first thing that you need to do, because it's like the first habit, which actually will actually help you with all the other the other 6 habits. When you are proactive, it's like you are telling yourself, okay, I am responsible for myself. So the moment you are responsible for everything in your life, uh, that will jumpstart all the other 6 habits, until the other habits. And I think if you ask me, so to answer your question, there's these are in order. So you have to be proactive first. Did I answer your question? I hope I did.
Yes, Steph. Thank you, Miss Shani.
Okay. All right.
Actually, this questions actually she didn't want he or she didn't want to have her name
Yeah, it's
announced,
okay.
but I'll
Yes,
just
it's
read it
okay.
sa message subong. But
Yes.
based ang aton nga audience for this afternoon asked as junior high school though, we often get lost in our paths. We don't know which way we're heading at. There's too much pressure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm.
Which way am I supposed to go? Now, the question was basically, how do I know I'm heading in the right way, though, Mrs.
All right. You go back to your mission statement. Remember, habit number 2, you have to make your personal mission statement. You remember that part. So whenever you feel that you have gotten off track, or you're kind of lost, go back to your mission statement. That's why I said earlier, if you can do it, try to write your mission statement or print it and then post and then paste it somewhere where you can see it on a daily basis, so that it will remind you. Because whenever you get off track, you just go back to it and then you try to think of your mission. Is what is it that you want to do, what is it that you want to get out of your life? If you know the answer to that, you will be able to know what are the next actions that you need to take. So you go back to your mission statement. I hope I answered the question.
Okay, though, Miss. She
Yeah.
actually,
Okay.
she actually told me sa chat box. Thank you, though. And
All
then
right.
this one is from Sam. Actually, he asked me
Okay.
though, how do I start though from my self development journey as a teenager? That's the question, po, Miss.
Okay. The same answer. If you want to plot your future, if you want to plot what are the goals that you want, you go back and try to write a personal mission statement. Remember what I said about the mission statement, that it's going to help you make a blueprint of your life. So if you will be able to do that later, or the earliest time will be able to do that, your personal mission statement, because that's going to be like your motto in life. It's like the skeleton of your life. No, it's what will drive you, what will give you uh your personal motto or personal mission statement is what will give shape to your life. So if you are able to do that as soon as possible time, that will help propel all the other goals and all the other important values that you want to have in your life. So go and make your personal mission statement. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So,
Yes.
thank you, Miss.
You're
Before we head to these 2 questions that I would like to ask, I would like to ask the audience first. No, maybe there are some here who have questions in mind. I'll give you the platform. I'll count 10 seconds. And if you could just send me another question to chat box so I could just raise them. But now we have two, and
Okay.
we're only going to have at least 5 to 10 questions. Para we won't take much of your time here. So
All
if
right.
anybody would want to ask any questions, the floor is yours for 10 seconds. I'll be counting in 10, 9,
You
8,
can put it in the chat box if you're shy to ask it person.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So so far nobody has raised any hands, but
Okay.
I would like to ask the two final questions, but I have in the chat box right now. Um,
Yes.
so the second to the last question would be how essential is it po daw to actually get some sleep as teenagers, which is a really a question about circadian rhythm though, miss.
Yeah. Remember, you are still growing, boys and girls, right? Your bodies are still in the process of growing. You are not yet fully grown, so to say. Okay, so sleep is important because it's what will help you, um, you know, when you sleep you are being recharged, like just like your cell phones, right? When your cell phone is low bat or if it's empty, you can't do anything with it because you cannot even nothing, right? When it's empty battery, so how do you put it back to its functions is you charge it, right? So the same with our bodies. If you exhaust your bodies because of lack of sleep, because of irresponsible eating, it kind of depletes your battery, your body's battery, and before you know it, you'll be sick. So sleep is very, very important because it recharges your body. The right, I am in science, in your lessons in science. I think your teachers have mentioned it that when you go to sleep, the cells in your body actually work to regenerate, to make all the functions ready by in the morning. And that's what sleep does. It regenerates, it helps you recharge, it helps you rest, it gives your body time to just be still and recuperate from the whole day of thinking, whole day of working, whole day of attending classes, of maybe doing chores in the house. So sleep is the only time where you are not doing anything except lying down, closing your eyes, and recharging. Okay?
Okay. She said thanks the sa answer. It's
You're
really insightful.
welcome.
So
Yes.
the last question is from Mr. Nino Halyares.
Okay.
It's here. Anadula, siya actually. But he
Yeah, that's
asked me,
okay.
Miss, is giving yourself something as simple as a coffee, as making a coffee in the morning though, uh, a simple act or probably an efficient way to heal yourself, no? Like a starting path though, Miss, the way he'd explain it's a question to
All right.
self improvement.
Yeah. Maybe what he meant there is doing something for yourself in the morning, or like first thing in the morning, um helpful. Is it something like that, right? I would say yes, because remember, again, you are the lead, you're the one who's supposed to be the leader in your life. So doing something for yourself is like putting in your bank of self-love. So it's like this depositing in your bank of self-love so that you are able to give to others also. So yes, doing something for yourself in the beginning of the day is something that will help you make better decisions all throughout the day. And that's very, very important because you have to love yourself first before you will be able to love others. Okay? I hope I
Okay.
answered the question.
Yes, though, Miss. Linya
Yes.
said that
Okay.
she did. But anyways,
Yeah.
um, before we end this open forum, does anybody have any questions? Or should we proceed with the next slide? I'll give five counts. Five, four, three, two, one. Okay. So far, while I'm raising the hands. But before we end this, Miss, do you have anything else? What maybe any topic you like to raise, Miss Speaker?
Okay. I simply would like to remind each and every one of you to take the time to write your personal mission statement so that it will be able to guide you all throughout your life. That's something that you can do for yourself tonight or maybe in the coming days so that you will be able to deposit something in your personal self-love account. So I hope that you will be able to do that soon. Thank you so much for listening.
Okay. So we'll end the open forum here, no? Because we've had five questions so far, and why naman naka-add? So I'll just continue to be closing remarks of the speaker. Okay. So once again, everybody, I'm your host for today, no? Mr. Jasper Sean G. Cruz. And before we end or I start rapper with the speech, I would like to first thank you, Sir Jarek Enatan, Sir Active Nagracia, Ma'am Cindy G. Baredo, and Ma'am Mary Rose Escorpizo for the opportunity to present and conduct this seminar. Hopefully, guys, no, this talk would serve more, no, into helping the GHS, the junior high school, no, kamobala, in adjusting to their lives and shifting their schedules and time management and self-management habits to not only improve, no, but also amplify productivity rates in school. But most particularly, good guys, is to always remember, no, but in improvement, there always has to be, there always actually is supposed to be a sense of management, a sense of control. Because if you want to improve yourself, if you want to improve the world and change it as it is, you have to start with the first thing that comes to the letter with the word improvement, and that starts with I. That starts with you. That starts with every each and one of us. You can't pour water if you're an empty cup. So one thing we should also take note from the seminar is um, that improvement doesn't actually happen overnight, but it's a gradual process. So as us teenagers, we have to learn to adapt to our surroundings, to strive to be better, to grow. And not only do we do it as teenagers, but magdakogid kita, we're gonna bring this someday soon. Because I know most of us here are from grade 10. We're about to move into senior high, and most of us are grade 9 na and grade 8. And time is moving pretty fast sabong. Kapintang, it's a pandemic, so you feel like everything is moving in just a second. So maybe take the time, guys, to stop and smell the roses. So on a final note, I would like to end my closing remarks, no, with this quote from Armin Atler in the anime series Attack on Titan: "Those who can sacrifice anything can ever change anything." End quote. So with this, I would like to first provide the view the certificate of recognition to be provided by Sam. Is Sam here? Nadula siya? Okay. We'll be doing the giving of the certificate of recognition and another recording, I think, when Sam comes back. But to end this meeting first, the seminar, gid, no? I would like to call on Mr. Pierre Paul Superior to please lead the closing prayer. Uh, Pierre, are you here? It seems that Mr. Pierre Paul Superior has actually lost connection as well. I think Ranat Subong sa Pavia. So, okay. I'll just move on to the next slide. I'll just leave a prayer from here. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our help is in the name of the Lord, who made heaven and earth. Let us pray. God, bless our every human heart. You move St. Augustine to seek recipe for truth and peace. Touch our hearts so we bring this heart for wisdom, for the word made flesh. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. So before we end this meeting, we would like to first have the USA Golden March, and then proceed kita with Miss Sharon. May you please stay before we end this meeting po?
Okay.
Once again, Augustinians, thank you, and have a blessed good afternoon. And to Miss Sharon Rose Gila Cruz, thank you for giving us the time and preparation for this seminar, no? And despite the fact nga we were delayed a bit and we rescheduled, she was still here to second with us. Kapin pa nga subong grabe kita ka busy view week, no? Thank you so much to her, to everyone here in the audience, and to the GHSSR officers for making this seminar possible. Once again, guys, I'm your host for today's seminar, Mr. Jasper Sean de la Cruz, and I thank you all for coming over and spending your time here with us to talk about mental health and self-management. Once again, guys, thank you, and have a blessed afternoon. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Ms. Speaker, may you please stay there as a meeting?
Yep.
Okay. Mama, mama.
Bye.
So actually mama ang dapat balay ang after sang kagidata sa ang closing remarks nagatag kami certificate of recognition, but since wala pa kami ka-receive bala sang sang certificate with signatures and with actually ang sa halanggid kay Reverend Father, so hindi pa siya ma-provide bala. So
Yeah, that's
ang
okay.
obrawan namon okay obrawan namon bali mama is ma-record kami mama, maybe karon if magpuli kita ma, iyan ko lang
Okay.
simo ang certificate of recognition through virtual lang mama.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Pierre, can you please call Sam nang again? Oh. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. So, thank you gina sa time mo diri subong and
You're welcome. I hope
thank you,
naintindihan.
okay mama.
Clear man.
Oo mama, wait lang, ma-stop lang ko recording.
Yeah.
So, okay. Recording.